Dave Gardy here live on the floor of WorkBoat 2009 at the Memorial Convention Center in New Orleans, and with me is Mr. Roscoe McWilliams, who is president of Skim Oil, a company that has grown by leaps and bounds in the last year for a lot of different reasons and is attracting a lot of attention as the show opens. Roscoe, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Now, you've had a lot of success. Just give us a quick overview of the company for people who may not be familiar with it, and then we'll talk about the history as it relates to regulations and why you evolved.
Our company, we specialize in helping boat operators deal with their marine wastewaters. Years ago, this wasn't much of a problem anymore. In 2009 and forward, it's going to be a much bigger problem than it has been. Reason being, in 1973, they passed the Clean Water Act. The government did. And the Clean Water Act was, in fact, they were finally able to recognize that we're killing our waters, and it was to do something to protect it. And the Clean Water Act covered a lot of different waste streams and different pollutants going in. And it was a big umbrella meant to cover a lot, and it did for industries and anybody putting processed water into the river. The marine industry, the commercial marine industry, pretty much got a pass on most of the pollutants just due to the fact that they had a very strong lobby at the time, but they were mandated to control the amount of oil that they were putting in the water. Everything else is kind of a free pass. Well, that all changed actually in 1990. Open 90 was passed, the Oil Pollution Act of 1990, and this was driven by the Exxon Valdez, which was in 1990. And they saw at that time that we'd better start cleaning up the act. And at that time, the Coast Guard started enforcing the EPA rules of the Clean Water Act. In so doing, the Coast Guard started tightening up on everything related to oil. The early oil water separators were very funky animals. They were big, they had lousy controls, the crews weren't trained on them, there were poor instructions, they were big guys, and they didn't work very well. So the boat operators did not trust them so much, and they would oftentimes, this is after Open 90, oftentimes they would just store the water and eventually pump it off to a third party. This was very, very costly because the third party people, all of a sudden were able to start charging for this new waste stream. This is, in fact, what prompted us to come with the bilge VAP. Our original bilge VAP was just designed to evaporate bilge water to eliminate discharge.
Now bring us, just as one quick before we go and look at each of the components here, bring us to today's regulations. What's happening now that's driving the market?
Well, if we fast forward to today, the EPA was just recently successfully sued by several environmental groups, and they're mandated and ordered by the courts to start enforcing the Clean Water Act. And the commercial marine industry, anybody over 79 foot, has been mandated to start controlling and managing some of their waste streams. These are things that they never thought of before, and all of a sudden they have a soup of 27 different products that they have to manage, control, monitor. Every workboat over 79 foot in length has been given an NPDES permit. They didn't ask for it. That means you have to manage it, you have to report it, and that's in fact why we've developed the bilge VAP and our new product, the MarineVAP.
Now tell us about the bilge. Do you want to start with the MarineVAP?
Yes.
Okay, let's come on over here and take a look at this. This is a product that's hitting the market. It's a big announcement for you at the show. It's attracted a lot of interest. Give us an overview.
The MarineVAP was developed simply as a response to the EPA being sued successfully. Whereas our bilge VAP originally took care of all the bilge water, the MarineVAP is a different animal. It's designed to evaporate gray water, treated black water, some bilge water, even deck water. And let me show you how the thing works here. The MarineVAP, vertically oriented, so we have a very small footprint here, more height, and the MarineVAP is electric powered, so it runs off the gensets. And what it's doing, it's a complete system. This pump fills the MarineVAP initially. When you turn the unit on, fills the MarineVAP to here. Our heater elements are down in this area, and everything is controlled by the control panel. So the pump fills the unit to this, The heat's up, turns it to steam. Water's water at 211. This takes it up to 212, out as steam out of here. There are no moving parts on here other than this pump, the feed pump, and a circulation pump that we have over here. This is a very well insulated unit. You can see in here, our heating elements are down here, controlled here. That's heating the cylinder. Cylinder heats the water, water's water, steam is gone. This will turn a boat into a no discharge zone. This is a complete system that controls the pumps for circulation, the self-monitoring ability, and it's hands-off automatic. Once you punch start, you're done. You can walk away from it. And this is somewhat different than our bilge VAP. It takes up so little room, doesn't need an exhaust fan. Let me show you the bilge VAP.
Yeah, let's take a look at the bilge VAP, which of course was here last year, and you've had a lot of success with this.
The bilge VAP is our original unit, and it operates differently, where this shoots in water at the same rate it's evaporating it. This starts off with a tank full of water. So what we have is an 85-gallon tank here. That gets filled one way or the other. It has underfloor heating under the floor here. So the heating elements heat the floor. The floor heats the water. Water's water at 211, 212, it's steam, it's gone. This unit uses an exhaust fan. It's actually a draft inducer, so it's pulling air in from the engine room or wherever they locate this. That's carrying the steam out, taking it off the boat, turns the boat into a no discharge zone. This is a simple unit. We've got a lot of these on workboats. The people who are using it, they don't pump off their water anymore. So they're able to eliminate gray water, bilge water, even treated black water. This unit is our smallest bilge VAP. It evaporates 5 or 6 gallons an hour, whereas the MarineVAP will evaporate 8.3 gallons an hour. But it does much more efficiently, it has much more insulation. So what we've developed here is two units that will turn any boat into a no discharge zone. No discharge is a safe discharge.
Now, you're also known, of course, in the industry for the OOPS filter. Can you give us a little bit about that?
We're not known for it, but we hope to be. The OOPS filter is the overboard oil protection system. OOPS. And not everybody, not every boat is going to want to, in fact, use this, the MarineVAP or the bilge VAP or an oil water separator. And so there's a lot of smaller workboats that don't have the room or the budget for the bigger equipment. And everybody has a bilge pump, though. And what they're doing now, when it hits that switch, turns it on, shoots it out, with no concern as to where anything is going. So our new OOPS filter, and I have it here.
Excellent.
The OOPS filter will work with any bilge pump. You hook the bilge pump in, so the overboard discharge line goes in here. The OOPS filter uses a media filter that removes not only free oils that an oil water separator does, but it also removes emulsions. Emulsions are caused by soaps that are often used. So in operation, you're bringing from the bilge pump your bilge water in here. The filter removes free oil, emulsified oil. Coming out here, we have clean product going overboard. You've seen in every marina and every small boat in America, every once in a while they pump off a little bit of sheen. Every marina's got sheen in it. The OOPS filter, we have different sizes from even the smallest boat up to the bigger workboats. This is a larger one, but the small ones for a pleasure boat are this big. So they'll remove all of the oils and give you a pollution-free discharge.
It's excellent. Well, congratulations. And I know you're launching this. I've just mentioned that people know you for it because it's a great name. I think it's an great name to market. Everybody has that problem in the marinas. Yeah. Well, give us an overview. Stand right back up here, and as we close this out, can you give us an overview of where people would go to get more information about the products that we've seen today?
Indeed. On our bilge VAP unit, you can see it online at www.bilgevap.com. How nice. You can find it at MarineVAP.com. That's MarineVAP.com. And the OOPS Filter is at oopsfilter.com. What we have found is that no discharge is a safe discharge, but we're trying to come up with some methods to make it easier for all of the operators to keep their noses clean.
Congratulations, Roscoe McWilliams, president of Skim Oil, again, with new products this year on the floor. A lot of success, and we're going to let some of these people who are all over us here want to get in and see some of this stuff. I'm Dave Gardy here live from the floor of the Memorial Convention Center in New Orleans for WorkBoat 2009 and Maritime TV's live webcast. Stay tuned for more.